Hi, I'm Heidi,
And I'm Byron.
and we are sailing Schmidt. We left St. Croix at 6:30 a.m. on Friday, July 18th to travel to the French island of Martinique. To catch everyone up on our route, let's review how we got here first. We left the Galveston Bay on February 17th, 2025, and made our way east towards Florida, down the coast and across to the Bahamas. Then down the Caribbean island chain, eventually headed to Grenada. So we've been underway for 5 months now. But this particular leg of our journey to Martinique would be about 300 nautical miles and take us approximately 58 hours. Originally, we had planned to stop at a few of these islands just for a night in order to break up the journey. However, we had a full weather window to get to Martinique, so it was just time to get it done so we could get down to Grenada sooner. We will have to visit some of these islands on the way back up the chain next season. With St. Croix behind us, we headed into more sargassum to dodge and a few nights at sea. We would be traveling during the Perseid meteor shower. Outside of the moonlight, we should have perfect conditions to view some of them. The first night we saw exactly 0 meteors, but the second night we both saw a number of them, so that was rewarding. So, we would be traveling in the lee of 4 different islands. The lee is a mariner's term for the side of the island sheltered from the wind, the opposite of windward. The first up would be Montserrat, a British territory with a population of mostly Irish ancestry. The southern part of Montserrat is an exclusion zone due to an active volcano that actually destroyed the capital city and forced 2/3 of the population to flee to the UK for a period of time. We had very decent seas between islands. However, once we were on the lee side of an island, we would have a very strange rocking and bobbing motion. I liken it to a wag back and forth, which is not like a gentle rocking motion that lulls you to sleep. It seems there is never a shortage of the little surprises that make a journey special, like rainbow clouds, sundogs, mysterious islands, and dolphin pods. This is Guadeloupe, and it is taking a long time to go past this island because we're on the lee side and all of our wind is being blocked by the island, and so we're having to motor and there's a current. The wind shadow of the islands would bring different effects during the daytime versus at night. During the daytime, we would often lose the wind entirely, or even get a west or northwest wind. This happened on the lee of Guadeloupe. But at night, we would often get a land breeze coming off the island as an easterly, due to the island cooling down at night. This is exactly what happened as we passed Dominica. We took a lot of water on deck throughout the night, as evidenced by all the sargassum. Then we had pretty spirited conditions on Sunday morning between Dominica and Martinique. But it all calmed a bit once we started getting into the shadow of Martinique. Overall, our perception on this journey was that it took a very long time to get past these islands. They just seemed to go on forever. Finally, in the shadow of the land. Oh! It's such a relief to be in the calmer waters after such a long trip. The most amazing thing happened once we were in the lee of Martinique. At first we thought they were dolphins, but the dorsal fin was much too tall and had a different shape than the dolphins. The spray from the blowhole was more than we had seen from dolphins as well. We identified these animals as a pod of orcas. This is not unheard of in the Caribbean, but it's also not common. We were just some of the lucky ones that got to see them. It seemed like there were 4 or 5 in this group. By the size of the dorsal fins, it looked like there was one male and the others were either female or juvenile. These killer whales are actually the largest species in the dolphin family. Let us know in the comments if you've seen orcas in the Caribbean. Overall, we had a good passage. It was 56 hours. I'm going to be attempting to pronounce some of the places and experiences we encountered that are in the French language, so here goes. We chose to anchor at L'Anse Mitan, which is popular with tourists, foreign and local, and is within walking distance to shops and restaurants. It's in an area called Les Trois-Ilets, meaning the Three Islands. We arrived on a Sunday around 2 p.m., so we would need to wait to check into the country the next morning. I dove the anchor to check the seafloor situation, and we looked well set. Also, our hull still looks okay with not a ton of growth. Byron went to check in Martinique, and it's France, so it might take a while. Here he comes! I hope we got checked in because it looks really fun in there. I can't wait to go explore.
In case you might notice a difference, we actually are in Dallas, Texas, filming this right now. And it's cool outside, so we're not sweating on the boat.
Very nice.
We clean up pretty well, I think, but...
We're just taking a little 6-week break while our boat is on the hard at Spice Island Marine and getting a bottom job.
The boat.
Right. Byron went to go check us into the Martinique, as he likes to say.
I went to the customs office and waited for the customs man to come in, and either did not or would not speak English. Somehow pointed me to a printer where I was supposed to print off my entry forms for customs. And what they don't tell you is that in France, they don't use a QWERTY keyboard, they use an AZERTY keyboard. So it relegated me to a hunt and peck type style. Finally finished printing off my entrance documentation, and then there was a long back and forth in French and English about how to pay, and I was just about to raise the French flag, the give up, and
The white flag.
The white flag. And finally he told me he would take a card.
So nobody talks about the AZERTY keyboard.
It's bad. It's bad.
Yay! We're checked in. This is our interesting dinghy setup situation. Is I get to get out on the rocks with the chain and then wrap it around the rock, hoping a crab doesn't bite me, and then lock it up. Works good. It was time to explore this country. What fun to see the French culture, which was very different from the other islands that we've been to. Very quaint, but the trash.
Yeah, stinky.
It is stinky here.
Woo! Stinky.
It's like being in Paris. We tried to go into the casino, but they require a passport for entry, and we didn't have them with us. We walked to the only grocery store we could find, only to discover it was only open from 8:30 to 1:30. Finally seeing a breadfruit tree. Okay, so we walked all the way back here to go to this grocery store, and now it is closed. And it's only like 3 in the afternoon or something.
No eggs for me today. This place closed early. Tomorrow I'm gonna go hungry for breakfast. I'll starve to death. I'll get real thin.
It was time to try the local beer. Beer Lorraine. Pretty good and refreshing for the hot climate. Then we ordered 2 rum punch and 1 hamburger, but what we got was 2 hamburgers and no rum punch. So our language problems continue. Goodness. Look at that guy. What? Okay. This is how big he is. I don't want to touch him. Oh, he sees me. Oh my gosh. These are frangipani trees, and these rasta caterpillars can grow up to 8 inches long. They transform into the Tetrio sphinx moth. We've seen these moths come out at dusk when they hear the reggae music. And this is my favorite flowering tree that I've seen so far, mainly due to the unique leaf shape. It's a type of plumeria known as the bridal bouquet. Our main goal of the day was to make it to the grocery store La Caverne de Lucy.
La caverne de Lucie.
We spent about $130, which should last us a week. There were not too many choices, but the quality of the food was very high. They had low prices on prosciutto, goat cheese, Swiss chicken sausages, and we were surprised to find that you're required to buy baguettes with every purchase. Byron made an amazing tomato sauce with sardines, and we put it on baguette slices. We've been to a lot of places where we couldn't find enough fresh food, so we had to eat out of cans, but not here. We'd been admiring the signs for Crepes Party. We're not known to miss a party, so we planned to go there.
Crepes, crepes, crepes! The rain will not stop us. We demand crepes!
Welcome to Martinique.
Say, I like grapes, or I'll break your arm.
I like crepes.
We hiked the abandoned Fort de la Pointe du Bout, which was one of the forts built to repel English attacks during the 17th century. During that period, there was a lot of conflict between European nations to possess Caribbean islands. The fort was remodeled and used again during World War II when pro-Nazi forces were controlling Martinique. It was hard to find the trail, but it ended up being a very cool but mysterious spot. It's a shame that this has not been maintained and has become a graffiti spot, dump site, and camp for the homeless, but preserving and promoting a fort where Nazi forces were active might not seem like a very dignified investment.
I am Zool.
So as we were passing down the road, we ended up coming to a rum shop, and I wanted a nice bottle of rum from the area of the world that produces it. And so I go in, we ask the woman, what's a good bottle of rum? We give her a price point. She, of course, ignores the price point and starts bringing out all these bottles. And I try them. They're good. One thing I was trying to stay away from is that they age everything in whiskey cask, and it gives it a peaty flavor that I don't like. I'm not a whiskey fan. But we ended up coming home with a bottle, and it was subpar at best. I mean, it just wasn't good.
Well, the point is she had to tell us how to drink it.
She did have to tell us how to drink it.
And normally, if we were drinking rum, we would put the rum on ice and maybe put some lime in it if it's like a sipping rum. But she said, oh, you drink it at room temperature, no ice, no mixer, no lime. And it was not suitable that way for us.
Lady, you drink it your way and I'll drink it mine.
No half box.
No receipt.
No receipt. Okay. No fresh. No ice. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Right. Oops. Thank you very much.
Moving over to Fort-de-France, Anchorage. We had spent 6 nights at L'Anse Mitan, and we definitely wanted to see Fort-de-France, the capital city, and have access to laundry facilities. These passenger ferries run between Fort-de-France and 4 other locations in the bay, including L'Anse Mitan. Between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m., they run every 30 minutes, and they don't waste any time. We guessed they were traveling at about 35 knots, which is about 40 miles per hour. What it means for all the anchorages is that your boat is going to roll for a few minutes, at least twice an hour. And you've really got to watch out for them when you're coming in and out of the bays. There was information about it being difficult to get a good holding here, but Kismet, we got it. It's a very picturesque anchorage right next to Fort St. Louis. It's an active military fort, and you can schedule a guided tour, but it's very limited on what you can see. We heard they fly a white flag, just for kicks. The architecture dates back to the 17th and 18th centuries, and they even have what we call an awkward tree. We happened to come ashore during a church service, and we had a spiritual experience hearing a beautifully gifted and dedicated vocalist. We had no idea what she was singing about, and we got lost in the moment. This is where we put our dinghy to come into Fort-de-France today. And we're pretty nervous because we've heard of a lot of dinghy theft and engine theft here. And there were suspicious characters hanging out at the park. Were they thieves? We just decided that we had taken our precautions and we can't worry about it the whole time. We definitely have taken advantage of the food here. If we bought baguettes, butter, meats, and cheeses somewhere else, it just wouldn't be as delicious. So who posed best with the baguette? Electrolux doesn't just suck, they also spin.
So smart, he figured out that there was an English language selection on the washers.
Successful laundry outing. While we were in Fort-de-France, we did happen to eat a few slices of pizza at this corner pizza place. It was kind of casual, and it was pretty good pizza. Throughout Fort-de-France, they had a big homeless population, and it seemed they also had mental illness, and it was sad to see.
There, the owner of the pizza joint was watching one of the homeless guys that was walking across the front of the store, and was nice enough to go out and ask the man to sit on the side of the store. And he went in and boxed up a slice of pizza and a bottle of water and brought it out to the man and handed it to him so he could have something to eat.
So, yeah, it was like the merchants were just taking care of their own people there, and that was very refreshing. We're doing a walking tour of Fort-de-France, so it should be fun. First up is the Museum of Archaeology and Prehistory. It's unassuming from the outside, but inside you'll see artifacts found on the island that date back to the 5th century BC. La Savane, or Savannah Park, was initially a military training ground, but was transformed into a beloved public park to host outdoor markets and Fort-de-France's carnival and more. The Schulker Library was constructed in Paris in 1889 and later dismantled and shipped piece by piece and reassembled here. It is an actual working library that houses many literary treasures. The old courthouse is a palace of art and culture that celebrates Martinique's artistic heritage. The St. Louis Cathedral was built in 1895 to replace the previous cathedral that was destroyed by a hurricane in 1891. The new framework is constructed entirely of metal to withstand all sorts of natural disasters. The 194-foot tall spire is a beacon of faith and testament to the enduring strength of the island's people. The theater Aime Césaire is housed in this building, the Old Town Hall, and it's known for its acoustics for dramatic and musical shows. Against all advice and our own instincts, we tried the Mexican food place, really out of curiosity. They were playing the music, they had the decorations. Perfect. However, the dining room was deserted. We should have fled. I ordered some kind of variety platter, and Byron had the fajitas. Really, nothing was that great. It was the French interpretation of Mexican food, which does not compute. There was no flan or churros on the menu. They had to stick with what they know, creme brulee, and that was actually pretty good. We finally have a weather window to go to Grenada, and so we are going to be pulling anchor here from Fort de France and headed that way later this afternoon after a short trip to the fuel dock, and we need to check out of the country as well. So, very exciting. Oh, the French and their ferries. Look at that wake. It's coming for us. And here it comes. I know you'd be shooing them off, but they look really cute. Our chip lines. We have 3. I mean, we have 6. Oh, yeah? We are just waiting for the fuel station attendant here, and I successfully called out to the Port de Plaisance agent to request assistance, and they spoke back to me in English, which was very nice. I was appreciative. I got to do the checkout of the country, so I walked to customs and experienced the AZERTY keyboard myself. Upon successful checkout, I got to use the popular French expression for success, super. I learned this from my sister Kristen, who lives in France, and the customs agent was thrilled. Martinique in our rearview mirror. And we're sailing it. Woohoo! Coming up around the bend here is something called Rocher de Diamante. Diamond Island. Huh? Oh, Rocher du Diamant. No idea if I'm saying that right. But it's pretty cool. We had prepped for our passage by making boiled eggs, pancakes, cold coffee, and tuna salad. We also had crackers and that French butter. Unfortunately, our dinghy anchor was stolen right out of the dinghy during our last night. We discovered this when we put the dinghy up on the deck. It was the only thing that wasn't locked up. I guess it could have been worse. Overall, I would say that the Martinique was super.
Que ajoelho e rezo quando aquece